I want you to know you are not doing it wrong. If you're a woman who's burnt out, tired, doing your best to do all the things, but feeling like you're running on empty or something's missing, there isn't something wrong with you. So what if this was not about necessarily doing less, because the reality is we all have a lot to do, but what if this was simply about switching the way that you do it? And in this episode, I'm gonna give you all the tools that are super simple, literally take no extra time, and are free, and can be stacked in any moment while you're doing all the things that you do every day, whether it's preparing the meals or driving your kids around or juggling all the work and deadlines and emails. You can literally apply these tools and principles into your life. So by the end of this episode, you'll be able to say goodbye to the version of you that is constantly burnt out, exhausted, snappy, and tired. And just a quick heads up, if you check the link in the descriptions, you'll have access to a community of women doing this together, along with access to all of my free digital downloads and resources to help you implement these tools. So how do we actually address and fix this problem of constantly feeling burnt out? First, I need you to understand your brain has a rhythm. So your brain's natural rhythm is theta, alpha, beta, and then an evening wind down to get you into delta. And the bonus for all of this, when you follow this rhythm, is gamma, which is the hits of clarity and insight that magically appear throughout your day. So in this episode, we're gonna go over each and every one. I'm gonna give you a daily flow and schedule so that you can optimize your life. This rhythm you can think of kind of like a playlist, but rather than most of us playing a variety of songs, we are stuck on the same song all day long. This is our beta brainwave. It's the constant doing in our life and rushing around without knowing how, when, or where to insert these breaks and get into other songs on our playlist to help us keep going. So beta is a super powerful brainwave. I like to think of her as the girl that gets it done, our marathon runner. She is intended to play from 9 to 5. Remember like the traditional 9 to 5 workday? Well, I don't know about you, but I think most of us right now are starting our workday the minute we wake up and ending it the minute we put our heads down to go to bed. Because the truth is, anytime we've got our phone in our hand and we're either scrolling, checking emails, looking at social media, we are in our beta brainwave. And so what this leads to is burning ourselves out. The way that you might know you're overworking beta is either you're exhausted and can't get it done, and so maybe this looks like you end up like doom scrolling because you have no energy to do anything else. This might look like you're overwired or overstressed or constantly in a state of fight or flight, which could feel like anxiousness or overstimulation. Or this could look like having these little tiny moments that we actually have access to throughout the day of nothingness, and instead of enjoying it, instead of doing something for you, you use those moments to catch up and get it all done so that at the end of your day, you can finally relax. But the truth is, if we don't consciously and intentionally train our nervous systems to know how to access calm, to know how to access the other songs in our playlist, when we get to the end of our day and finally have a chance to relax, we don't know how to. And so these tools are so powerful because you're literally learning how to flex a muscle that we really haven't been flexing, especially as women. This muscle will allow you to actually find those micro moments, I like to call them, throughout your day where you have maybe 1 to 5 minutes, and instead of catching up on that last email because you don't know what else to do, you end up finding joy, making time to play, maybe getting in nature and connecting with your breath instead of constantly just overworking that same song again and again and overworking your poor marathoner. Even the best marathon runner needs water breaks. And you can think of these other brain waves that we're about to talk about, alpha and theta, as these pulses and or the essential water breaks that any runner would need in order to get to the end of the race, aka the end of your day. So the key takeaways about beta, and we are going to revisit her a little bit later, is that beta is the brainwave we want to be in, or the song that we want to be in during the majority push through of our day. The 9 to 5, the get stuff done. This is a really important, really powerful brainwave. This is what you use when you're checking off your list, when you're writing the emails, running the meetings, working your career, or doing all the things that you take care of around the house that require that go mode. That's beta. The problem with beta, I wouldn't even say it's the problem with beta per se, but the problem with the actions that we choose to take throughout our day, and this is really, really important. Anytime you look at a screen, whether it's your phone, your computer, a TV, and actually when you have overhead lights on in your home, traditional house lighting, you are pushed into beta. So think about that for a second. Think about what you do when you first wake up. Do you go on your phone? Do what I used to do, like hop right on the emails to get ahead for the day? Know that anytime you are exposing yourself to artificial white or blue light, you are in beta. So this is a really good opportunity to maybe like pause the episode, do a check-in. I like to create what I call an internal audit or a home audit or a habit audit, and think about how can you give beta a break and let her shine from 9 to 5, but not from 6 a.m. until 9 a.m. and then again after your workday. So this is where I use a lot of red light in our homes. You guys have seen this on my videos. You've seen this on my Instagram. And you can start really small. This isn't intended to be overwhelming. You can literally get like red light bulbs for under $10 on Amazon. Put those in a lamp around your home or in your bedroom and just simply not turn on any artificial overhead white or blue light until at least the sun comes up and we're more intended to be around those bright lights. Another thing I highly suggest doing is using anything other than your phone if you do need an alarm to wake up. If you do choose to use your phone as an alarm, there's a few options. One, you can just use it as your alarm and then ditch it for at least a little bit of time before you give these other brainwaves a chance to sing their song. Or even better, you can do a triple click shortcut on your phone and make sure that your phone always has a red light filter on it in the morning and at night. I have a video on that to simplify the process, and it's also linked in the show description. I know that was a lot of information, but the main thing I want you to take away is that we don't want to be overusing beta. Otherwise, that's what's going to lead to burnout. All right, so next is my 2 favorite songs or brainwaves, and I'm going to talk about them one by one because these are really, really, really important. This is literally the key to getting it all done but not feeling burnout. This is how you still master checking off that to-do list, but at the end of the day, rather than putting your head on the pillow and beating yourself up over the way that you showed up, maybe who you snapped at Target or the grocery store, or maybe having the inability to be fully present with whoever's in front of you, this is how you change that. This is how you get it all done, but actually like how you did it. So theta. Theta is one of my absolute favorite songs and brainwaves. Theta is the brainwave that we naturally wake up in. And what happens is when we rush to get on our phone or check those emails or scroll the Instagram, we miss this beautiful brainwave. We miss theta and alpha, and I'll talk about alpha next. But these two are so incredibly powerful, and just by spending time listening to these songs, even if it's 2 minutes, 5 minutes, you completely change not only your day but your life. So theta I like to nickname the dreamer. Theta it's like that song or that brainwave between fully asleep and just waking up. And if you've ever heard someone say, I get my best ideas in the shower, or maybe if you're someone who like loves a drive and you get a lot of clarity on one of those like highway drives where obviously you need to pay attention, but you can kind of like zone out a little bit, that is because you're in theta. We're in theta when we daydream. But think about it, when is the last time that you really either daydreamed yourself or saw someone else daydreaming? I mean, literally when we're in the checkout line, or if you're waiting in a doctor's office or something like that, we used to daydream and now we have our phones, which again, remember, looking at our phones pulls us into beta. So people who meditate for years work really, really hard to get to a place where they achieve theta and alpha brainwaves. And again, we magically wake up in this state. So the most important action step to take in the morning is to simply listen. And so here's what I do to maximize my theta time. Because I'm half asleep during this time, I create what I call a sit spot. And this is a spot where before my brain is even awake enough to talk me out of it, I simply walk to and sit. There is no white or blue light in my sit spot. I have a nice supportive therapeutic red light. I've got my books and I've got my journal. And your main action step in theta, if even for 5 minutes, is simply to listen. Theta is our gateway to something more expansive than ourselves. Whether you believe in connection with God, connection with universe, connection with source, or connection to your intuition, theta is where we hear that voice. So what's really important is to minimize outside distractions and simply sit and listen. So for the busy mom, for the busy woman, this is so important because this is how we fill our own cup before serving everybody else. This is how you put your oxygen mask on first before taking care of others. A few years ago, I would hear those pieces of advice, and what I thought that meant was scheduling self-care, scheduling a massage, scheduling a manicure, scheduling a pedicure, all these things that took extra time, cost a lot of money, and took me away from my family, my loved ones, and my work. This is how we do it, guys. This is the true self-care. It takes minutes. You have access right in your home, and it's simply a matter of doing certain things and not doing certain things. So to bring this home, in theta, your most important action step is to listen. Your most important to not action step is to not put white or blue light in front of you, to not get on your screens, and to not turn on traditional household lighting. That's it. So I talk about this with my community a lot, and what we often find is, women embark on this and they get really excited, and just like anything we try implementing new in our lives to help make our lives feel better, they get stuck. They hit resistance. So maybe it's something like, great, I went to do that and my children woke up, what do I do? Or great, I went to do that and my pets woke up, what do I do? This is why community is so important. This is why being around like-minded women who are also wanting to elevate their lives through these simple steps is so crucial. This is what we talk about and walk each other through and support one another on the community calls, in the VIP Book Nook community. While we're talking to these incredible best-selling authors, we're not only learning about the books that we read, but we are speaking to experts and one another on how we actually implement these changes that really work in our lives, that help us stop feeling burnout, stop feeling like we're trying to juggle all the pieces and that we're alone in this, stop feeling isolated, and that something's wrong with us. This is it, guys. So the next brainwave, also one of my favorites, is alpha. I like to nickname alpha the connector, or the heart space. This is actually a flow state. If you've ever been in one of those moments where time completely ceases to exist, you are in alpha. Now, I want you to remember something I said earlier in the episode, where this is literally teaching you to flex a muscle. This is nervous system training so that we can access these states whenever we want. The truth is, we are training our nervous systems every day, whether you realize it or not, but most of the time we're training it for busyness, a lot of movement, not necessarily a lot of productivity. We're training it for chaos, we're training it for anxiety, and we're training it for stress. And so we've got to take some intention and make some choices that actually train our nervous system the way that benefits us. This is where alpha starts to shine. Alpha is our next step in the morning after theta. And ideally, I would love to tell you spend 45 minutes in theta, but I get you as a busy mom and a busy woman. And if you can even spend 5, that's a win. The next phase is alpha. And the action step in alpha is connect. And so this can literally mean connecting the words and the insights or the voice that you heard in theta. This is a great time to journal. This is a great time to maybe what I like to call and response. This is when I'll ask myself questions. So if something came up in theta like, gosh, how am I going to get it all done today? Alpha is where I start to actually have a conversation with myself. I know it sounds crazy, but we talk to ourselves anyway. So why not add some attention and intention behind it? Because the truth is, whatever questions you ask yourself, you will start to get the answer to. So you can ask yourself things like, why me? Why this? That can lead to more of like a victim mindset, or you can start to have control over your life by getting really intentional with your questions. How am I going to get it all done? Great question. Let me grab my pen and connect with myself and dig deep and find those answers from me. This is where we get our intuition and our voice louder. This is where, in the age of information, where you could listen to any podcast, you could read any book, you could search outside of you for every single answer, this is where you get back to the best one for you by tuning back into your voice. This is so powerful because training alpha is literally what allows you, in the midst of chaos, in the midst of your day, to stop, put a hand on your heart, and ask questions like, what is it that I need right now? What is it that would make this less stressful? What is it that would make this more fun? I do this literally probably 20 times a day. This is how I design my life the way that works for me, amidst taking care of my kids, amidst running the businesses, amidst taking care of a busy household. It's these micro moments, again, that's actually self-care. It's not scheduling a massage. It's not paying for a manicure, pedicure. I love all those things clearly, but this is how we do it, guys. And alpha, the connector, is one of your biggest windows into that. Alpha is also also one of my favorite ways to pulse throughout the day. Remember how I talked about those water breaks for the marathoner? Alpha is the way that when we're running the 9 to 5 and we have those little micro moments where maybe we're in between Zoom meetings or work calls or running the errands and all the things, alpha is our pulse and our mini break. This is how we feed ourselves throughout the day and train our nervous system and flex it how to actually rest and find contentment, calm, and joy throughout our day, rather than pushing in beta, promising ourselves at the end of the day that we'll finally rest, but then we get there and our nervous system doesn't know how to. This is how we do it. Also, studies show that even a few minutes in alpha in the morning will lead to peak productivity later in the day. Not only will you be productive, but it will somehow, some way feel effortless because you're accessing a flow state. So in order to activate or flex alpha, your action step is to connect. This is about you. Connect with you. What makes you feel the best in this moment? And your action step to not do is to not yet activate beta, to not get on your phone, to not get on your screens. And remember, we want to not only work alpha or incorporate alpha in our morning time, but this is what we want to incorporate during the micro moments and breaks throughout our day. Alpha is the water breaks between the 9 to 5 beta. So for me, in those moments, what I do is anything but grab my phone, anything but catch up on that last email. It's often something in nature. It's often music and just playing a fun song for 2 minutes instead of hopping on and checking emails. It's handstanding. I love my handstands. It's really anything except what I'm supposed to be doing or should be doing or have to be doing. It's what I want to be doing. Alpha is so powerful and I'm so excited for you to start to train her. The next one, this is our 9 to 5. We talked about her already, but I just want to help you understand where she fits in your day. The next natural brainwave and flow is beta. And so this is the one that doesn't require any training. This is the one that we were training all the other brainwaves because beta has been flexed enough. You guys, I want to just take a minute and zoom out because this is really important to understand. If you are a woman who has learned about cycle syncing for your menstrual cycle, which is, as much as we can aligning our life to the hormones that are flowing around our bodies during the month, this is like cycle syncing, but this is a daily opportunity. So whereas cycle syncing for your menstrual cycle is based on a weekly rhythm, this is daily. And so one of my favorite things about this is that you have an opportunity in any aspect of any day to pause, zoom out, ask yourself what brainwave are you overworking, and insert whatever one you need. So in that resource that I have shared for you called Regulate Your Rhythm, and in our VIP community, these are things we're talking about. I also teach you, there's like a great printable that super simplifies the system, how to activate any system in a moment. So if you're feeling like you have no energy, but you've got to get it done and you've got to get in that marathon mode beta, I teach you how. If you are overworking and overfried and stressed and you need to incorporate alpha, I teach you how. This is what we're doing together in the community. Okay, next after beta, this is really important. I think we've all heard and we all know that we need an evening wind down routine, but for so long I skimped it over. I was like, whatever, I don't really need it. There's not much I have access to. I need to finish work. I need to cook dinner, clean, take care of the kids, all the things. I didn't realize there was a really easy way for me to incorporate it by understanding the power of Delta. And so Delta, I like to nickname our healer, and she is the one that takes over our body and kind of like clears the slate, recharges our immune system, clears our lymphatics, clears our glymphatics, the lymphatics of our brain, and gives us a fresh start tomorrow. Delta is active when we sleep. However, if we don't do the evening wind down routine, and if we're running beta up until the minute we put our heads on the pillow, and we do that if we're on our phones late at night, we completely miss Delta. And so the purpose of this brainwave step and the importance of it is to get yourself prepared so that you sleep. A great day starts with a great night. And so the intention and importance of your evening wind down is so that you activate Delta. So even if it's 5 minutes, putting away your phone, dropping the screens, red light around your home is so powerful in getting you to get all the benefits of Delta and to heal and regenerate and get a great night's sleep. So this of any time is one of the most important times to be aware of your lighting in your home. If it's dark outside, you want as much as possible to mimic that inside. And I know this is one of the things I hear in my community a lot. Okay, what about when I'm helping my kids with homework? Or what about if I'm cleaning up the kitchen and doing the dishes? I can't do it in dark by candlelight. I totally get it. But maybe go for 80-20. Like, don't go for 100% changes and working in darkness, but where can you implement this? Can you at least have red light in your bedroom? Can you put a red light night light in your bathroom so when you or your kids are brushing your teeth, it's in red light? Can you dim the lights in the kitchen? Can you dim the lights in your family room? If you want to watch a movie and snuggle with your kids at night, totally fine. Like, we do that too. This is about balance. This is about practice, and we're not going for perfection. Lastly, one of my favorite things to do for morning, theta, alpha time, not so much theta because you really want to listen to you, but alpha, and then again at night for the evening wind down, is to incorporate a book. This is, in the Book Nook community, we talk about this a lot. You're going to be more likely to read a book if there's one with you, if there's one in your bag. And so this is a great way to anchor the beginning and the end of your day. I also have, my favorite, it's like a clip-on book light that's amber lighting, so you can literally lay there in the morning or at night, read some inspirational messages through your book and not blast into beta already. And when we do this right, when we flex these muscles, when we listen to the songs in order for our day and we're not blasting beta, the gift is gamma. Gamma is the target. Gamma is your reward for leaning into the cycles of your brain. Gamma is hits of insight and clarity that come to you out of nowhere. When we are living in sync with these brainwaves, gamma happens. So that might look like driving in your car and all of a sudden you're like, oh my God, I just had the best idea ever. That might look like having a challenge at work or in a relationship or at home, and all of a sudden, without reading a book or listening to a podcast or watching someone else on YouTube, you got the answer that works for you. That's gamma, and she's the reward for all of this. All right, so I know that was a lot of information, and now I want to break it all down into a super simple system for you in case this works better for you. This is the 5 P's of your daily flow. So you can think about all the brainwaves that we just covered, and you can also lean on the 5 P's. Pause, prepare, produce, plan, and peace. So these can be your guiding principles for your day. This can be something you literally write and print down and stick on your computer. So in the morning, you want to pause. That's your theta and alpha time to listen. You pause before you start your day. Then you want to plan. That can be in your alpha time. That can be with your journal. That can be starting to make your to-do list without going online. Then you want to produce. This is your 9 to 5. This is beta. We all know how to do this part. Then you want to plan. So this is where maybe beta starts to get a little bit like she needs a break. And this is where maybe in the past you would push through. You can use the end of beta when you start to feel a little bit tired to plan. So this is maybe making a list of last minute action steps. This is the things that you're going to put onto tomorrow's to-do list. This is plan. Lastly, peace. This is your evening wind down. And hopefully now you understand how important that time is so that you can slip into Delta and feel completely restored tomorrow and give your brain a break, clean the slate, and be ready to do it again the next day. Again, this is a lot of information, but this is one of the most powerful things you can incorporate in your life. I promise, I've been there, and incorporating this has changed my life. Go ahead and check the links in the description. This way you can have access to and lean on our community of women doing the same. We're not meant to do this alone. We don't heal in isolation. We need, crave, and deserve connection, and that's exactly what I've created in this community, and I would love for you to be a part of it. If you found value in this episode, drop a comment, share with a friend, let me know your thoughts, and I'll see you next time.